Visual processing disorder is not considered blindness or any sort of difficulty actually viewing objects. In fact, the majority of those with visual processing disorder have 20/20 vision. Visual processing disorder, or VPD, is not a visual impairment, but rather the lacking of the ability to interpret, organize, analyze, or synthesize visual data. An individual with visual processing disorder has a list of difficulties associated with handling visual cues. Some of these include difficulties with lines and margins, skipping words or lines when reading, reversing or misreading letters, words, or numbers, spelling familiar words with irregular patterns, etc. Researchers are unsure of what directly causes visual processing issues, but some theories are genetic traits, low birth rate, preterm births, and brain injuries. With younger children in the process of development, it is difficult to determine whether or not a child has issues with their visual processing. The most important thing when your child is struggling in school is to observe them and determine the root of the problem. If possible, a child should be receiving interventions and assistance between 2 and 8 years old. The child should see their pediatrician where they will perform a vision test and may refer the parents and child to a specialist, which can include a pediatric ophthalmologist, pediatric optometrist, or a neuropsychologist. The process of each specialist differs between their areas. The ophthalmologist or the optometrist tests the child to see if the problem is not in the child's visual processing abilities, but their actual vision. The neuropsychologist is the specialist who decides whether or not the child's difficulties with vision are due to a neurological disability by administering tests created to measure intelligence, academic skills such as reading, writing, and math, language skills including vocabulary, listening comprehension, and verbal expression, and memory and attention abilities. Although the causes of the disorder are not explicitly decided, studies have been done to further determine the disorder's origins and contributions. In a study performed by the Department of Psychology at Southern Illinois University, it was concluded that when activities are untimed and do not require sequential processing, a student with visual processing disorder who struggles with reading disabilities and ADHD can complete a task without much difficulty. In terms of determining causes, a study conducted by the Michigan College of Optometry at Ferris University concluded that there was a significant connection between family members on visual processing tests. This conclusion determined that genetics could be a contributing factor to the disorder, but reminded readers that the environment of the family could also be a factor. A journal by Leah Hyverian of Technical University of Dortmund discusses the way children should be assessed for visual processing disorders. The writing provides a list of tasks parents, therapists, and other specialists should observe when deciding whether a child has visual processing disorder. Some of these tasks include visually recognizing geometric forms and concrete objects, interpreting a series of pictures, and using vision when listening. An article in the academic journal Neuropsychologia relates to the theory that visual processing disorder can combine with other learning disabilities, especially ADHD. The article indicated that in the early development stages of their lives, children with ADHD already have signs of visual processing disorder. What this tells the reader is that impaired visual processing can cause deficits in attention. The most common symptoms of visual processing issues are: the child doesn't pay attention to visual tasks, is easily distracted by too much visual information, is restless or inactive during visual or visual presentations, lacks interest in movies or television, has difficulty with tasks that require copying, such as taking notes from a board, reverses or misreads letters, numbers, and words, bumps into things, has difficulty writing within lines or margins, has trouble spelling familiar words with irregular spelling patterns, can't remember phone numbers, has poor reading comprehension when reading silently, can't remember even basic facts that were read silently, skips words or entire lines when reading, or reads the same sentence over and over, complains of eye strain or frequently rubs eyes, has below average reading comprehension and writing, has weak math skills, and routinely fails to observe or recognize changes in bulletin board displays, signs, or posted notices. There are 8 types of VPD. One is visual discrimination issues, where a child has trouble seeing the difference between similar letters, shapes, or objects. The second is visual figure ground discrimination issues, where a child struggles to distinguish a shape or letter from its background. The third, visual sequencing issues, where a child finds it difficult to see shapes, letters, or words in the correct order and may skip lines or read the same line over. 4. Visual motor processing issues, where a child has trouble using what they see to coordinate the way they move and may struggle to write within the lines or bump into objects while walking. 5. Long or short-term visual processing issues. The child may struggle to remember shapes, symbols, or objects they've seen, causing issues with reading and spelling. 6. Visual spatial issues. The child will have trouble understanding where objects are in space and will be unsure how close objects are to one another. 7. Visual closure issues. The child will have difficulty identifying an object when only parts of it are showing. And finally, 8. Letter and symbol reversal issues. The child will switch numbers or letters when writing, or may mistake letters such as B for D or W with M. Visual processing disorder can obviously cause difficulties in schoolwork, but it also impacts life at home. At school, students have a harder time reading, writing, and performing math, the core subjects students tend to do in any level of schooling. As a result of students having a difficult time in these subjects, they fall behind in school, which has a toll on their emotional development and self-confidence. Simple life skills that occur in daily life cause problems with people with the disorder as well. Matching socks, remembering phone numbers, recognizing signs or notices, all are side effects of VPD. Students need special aid when dealing with any learning disorder. Some ways educators can assist those with visual processing disorder are giving children books with enlarged print, allowing students to write test answers on the same sheet as the questions, giving students one-on-one instruction, or reading tests aloud to the student. Also, hands-on activities greatly benefit students with VPD, as well as allowing the child to take frequent breaks from work and visual information. At home, parents can observe and take notes on what their child particularly struggles with, and report those findings to their child's teacher. Try doing some simple puzzles or reading the Where's Waldo books together. Visual processing disorder unfortunately cannot be cured, but there are some therapies that can help. One option is behavioral vision therapy. Although this is not proven to help the brain process visual information, this therapy works to improve visual perceptions and visual processing skills. There is also educational therapy. This therapy is not directly aligned with VPD, but its goal is to assist children in facing their problems and help them understand and overcome their weaknesses. There is also the option of working with the center to develop an individualized vision therapy plan for the child through consultations with both the vision therapist and the optometrist. The Optometry Center for Vision Therapy is one of the centers that offers this opportunity to parents and children. There are no medications that can help with VPD, but the disorder is often accompanied by ADHD, with which a child can be prescribed medication. Visual processing disorder affects people in every aspect of their life. The disorder is not an issue of vision, but an issue of processing what one needs and making connections based upon the visual cues. The core school subjects come harder to those with the disorder, and in turn, the students fall behind and lose their self-worth. It is the job of the educator and the parent to work with the child in relieving the difficulties they are forced to deal with every day.